community is the only community that has the power in this country to change anything. They are the only one with the experience of civil matter. They are the only one que tenían el esclavo ahí mismitico. They are the only one that are not going to get deported anywhere, and you cannot put them all in jail. So African American community, which is the community that is stepped on by Cubans, the most are the only ones that are going to save the Latinos. And I clap for the African American community that has not come out, because it is not. I do. We didn't do shit for them.
I get it. But I don't.
Me and you support, but in masses, we didn't support anything that was going with them. Latinos look at Cubans specifically. I'm not gonna talk about any other community because I'm not part of that community, even though I'm a Latina with them. Cubans talk shit about African Americans. Cubans did not support African Americans. Cubans think that they all victimize themselves, of this, all of that. African Americans are the only ones that are going to save your asses, Latinos. So
What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to my space. This is Ivan Strayola. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch this episode. I do not take your support for granted. So guys, on today's video, we want to react to a video by this Latina actress, Angelina Castro, who recently said in a very viral video on all social media platforms that Black Americans are the only group of people who can save Latinas, and that they are also the only group that cannot, be deported, and that the police officers cannot arrest all of them. And many thoughts came to my mind. Why would she say that Black Americans are the only group of people that cannot be deported? And that they actually depend on. And she was trying to ask other Latinas that it's time they start respecting Black folks, because they are the only ones who can support them. But the question that came straight into my head was, why does she say that Black Americans cannot be deported? Black Americans are actually Americans. Black people built America. Black people made a lot of innovations in America. Black people built the White House, the Capitol. Everything you see nice about America today was built by Black folk. This is something that is just on period, and it's something that she ought to have understood, even as she was giving that statement that Black people are the only people who cannot be deported. So guys, I want to show you a series of videos of Latinas speaking on the Black Latina relationship. Once the series of videos are done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this together, family.
The tension between the Black and Latino community needs to stop. And we need to be the generation to stop it. Anti-Blackness exists in our community. We know this. Anti-Blackness also exists within the Black community itself. All communities of color struggle with this. And the reason why is what we all have in common. We were all colonized and trained to have a mindset of you versus me for survival. But that ends with us. We need to lead with unity and not division. We have to be the change we want to see. We have to stop pointing the finger in both communities and make the decision that we are going to choose to be united versus divided. I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers, but here are examples of how you can show up differently and be the change you want to see. Number 1, share stories of solidarity. Share stories of love. Share stories of when you have experienced the Black or Latino community showing up in your spaces. We need to shift the narrative. Number 2, if your reality is division between the Black and Latino community and your goal is unity, then it is up to you to seek out examples of when the Latino and Black communities show up for one another, where they show love, where there is actual solidarity, because guess what? It exists. And if you need a place to start with me. I am happy to be a part of your network of Latinos who have nothing but love for our Black sisters and brothers. Number 3, ask your neighbors how you can be helpful. You need to lead with your heart in this moment. That is the only way that we are going to experience an actual shift. We have to show up as human beings. We have to show up vulnerable. We have to show up as the change that we want to see. Lastly, ask others to join you. Let's actually start in the comments. Share your stories of solidarity and love. If members of the Latino and Black community have a hard time seeing it, let's show them how it's actually done. I stand with my Black brothers and sisters, and I also stand with my Latino familia. But the change, it starts with us.
Black people are tired of being a bank where everyone keeps making withdrawals and no one ever makes a deposit. And I want you to think about that. If that was your setup, would you still want to give? Especially for those of us in the Hispanic community, because it's about patterns that we've inherited and the harm that we've ignored. Me, myself, I'm Puerto Rican. I've seen how anti-Blackness and colorism still show up in our homes, in our language, in our media, in our families. In many families, darker skin is treated like a disadvantage. When solidarity is needed, hesitation shows what's been internalized, and too many of us were raised to believe that aligning with Blackness meant losing something: safety, opportunity, acceptance. And we were taught the proximity to whiteness would protect us, that staying quiet was safer. So if we don't unlearn that, we end up repeating the same harm we say we stand against. So disengagement is not okay. What's happening to immigrant communities right now is devastating. I'm not taking away from that, and it does deserve compassion and support. But a good portion of that fear didn't come from distant forces, and it came from within our own communities. I've spoken out because I've watched people I know support systems that were never created for us to begin with. Systems that weren't designed to protect us, only to use us when it's convenient. So while I've raised my voice, I also know too many that have stayed silent, or worse, they chose power. We don't get to ask for empathy if we're unwilling to confront the harm our silence helped protect. And contrary to popular opinion, holding each other accountable isn't betrayal. It's how we begin to heal. So to the Black women and men that are saying we've poured into everybody and got nothing back, you're not wrong. You've carried movements, you've carried communities, you've carried generations without rest, without complaint, without question. And we cannot undo the silence that already has happened, but we can take responsibility for what happens next. I think people are not realizing we have way more similarities than differences, and we have more power together than we do apart. So look to your Black brother or sister, look at them and say thank you, and I see you. Simple as that. Strike up a conversation, get to understand, because that's all they're asking for, to be seen and to be appreciated for all that they do.
This is a really common sentiment that I'm seeing online, and while I do think that you're 100% valid in the way that you feel and your experience with racism from the Latino community, because let's be real here, Latinos, like a lot of Latinos are fucking racist. A lot of them are colorist as well. However, a lot of Latinos are also not anti-Black. A lot of Latinos are also willing to call out the colorism and racism towards melanated communities even within our own community. Generalizing a whole population based on your personal experiences is not it, but you are 100% valid in the way that you feel. However, the rest of your talking points in that comment thread, Another common sentiment that I'm seeing online is that a lot of Latinos voted for this. And as someone with family members who also voted for that, I don't claim them. California is a blue state, so the majority of the people here voted blue regardless, it doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter in terms of humanity and empathy, but I do feel that talking point should be made when discussing what's going on here in LA. On top of that, a lot of the Latinos being detained right now could not vote. And you know what's worse? They're outside of elementary schools. They are intimidating families. They are taking and detaining children and putting them in zip ties. Also, one of the most important things to keep in mind is that this affects minority communities in more ways than just immigration, because Adriana Smith is still being kept on fucking life support. There's also a Haitian woman that people seem to have forgotten about who died in ICE custody. Her name is Marie Angie Blaze. 12 Asian employees at a nail salon were also detained recently. I'm not sure who else they've gotten since then, because with everything that's going on and how censored the news is, we don't get to see how much they're truly fucking attacking minority communities. And they are coming for all of us. It doesn't matter if you're Latino. At the end of the day, it's minorities versus the corrupt administration that seeks to divide us. We need to fight for ourselves, and we need to fight for each other and stick with each other. We also need to call each other out when there's racism amongst our own communities. If you can't protest, there's other ways to help. And honestly, glorifying influencers for posting a singular thing and being done with it is not something I want to do, which I'm referring to the whole comment thread that I'm responding to, because with that said, have the day you deserve, and this isn't just about Latinos. Okay, bye.
I just want to say, watching these raids happen in LA right now, people voted for this. People voted for this. And I think right now, the Black and the brown community, we need to come together. And we need to remember that they are the ones who made it us versus them. They put us against each other, because if we're busy fighting each other, we don't put our eyes on them. We need to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up.
Girl, you need to wake up. Not the Hispanics calling on the Black people for help. Really? Where were y'all during George Floyd? Where were y'all during Sandra Bland? Where were y'all during all of the white cops killing Black people? Where were y'all? But y'all want us to come together. Really? Really? Why y'all calling on us? Why y'all calling on the Black people? Why y'all not calling on Asians? They're a minority too. Why y'all calling for us? If you go on my page, you will see I made a post about how there was a Trump rally for Trump back in 2020, before he even got elected 4 years ago. And there was a crowd full of Hispanics. And the song was saying, I will vote for Donald Trump. Y'all want it. Y'all got it. Y'all got him into office. And now y'all want to double back and ask for help, calling on the African Americans to help. Like, come on now. We gonna stay out of this. We gonna stay as far away from this. Y'all can continue to riot and make yourselves look bad, but we gonna stay out of this.
So respectfully, for the Black community, I have a question. So if Trump is trying to defund federal... I was trying to figure out what were you...
Mexicans, leave the Black community alone. They don't need to come to these gatherings in LA just so they can get locked up because people are actually rioting instead of protesting. It's just gonna add more fuel to the fire. They already have enough that they're going through on their own. The lady in the beginning of the video was saying that Black and brown need to come together and fight the orange man. But the other lady said, no, you haven't even reconciled your hatred towards us. As a Mexican American, I don't hate Black people. Y'all are cool as hell. We might have differences every now and then, but I like people on the basis of their character, not the color of their skin. No matter what race you are, maybe I won't like you because of the type of person that you are, but that's neither here nor there. Mexicans, let the Black people do what they do. They got their own shit going on. If you're out there peacefully, keep doing what you're doing. Make sure they don't tie you with these other crazy individuals, because you will be going to prison after this is all said and done. Don't get the Black people involved in this, because then it's going to get really bad. Then the violence is going to get really, really bad.
I hope that all you Hispanics are waking up. You're nothing more than tools to them. You are a buffer for them. That's it. You are a pawn on a chessboard. You're the weakest fucking piece on the chessboard to them. They're using you. These are the same people that were discriminating against their own people. Why the fuck you think they think any more highly of you? All they're using you for, and all these other groups of people for, is to be an obstacle that stands in the way of Black people. Because you weren't here when these people got here. Most of y'all were not here when these people got here. Foundational Black Americans, Black people, we've been here before all these other groups of people. And a small percentage of these racist ass crackers was here. That's it. Now, we built this country. After we built this country, after we put in all the blood, sweat, and tears, all the hard work, the Europeans came here first, and they freeloaded, and they got all this free shit, all this free cheap land, all of this shit. And then the government gave them things that they did not earn. And then when our people were free, right? And when we were naturalized citizens and we were recognized in 1870, We tried to go get what was due to us. And they needed to use somebody who was naive enough to think that they were more important than what they really were. So they allowed you guys to come here and fight amongst black people for resources that we deserve. And now they waking your ass up because they getting to a point to where they no longer need you. Donald Trump is making excuses to bring more Europeans here. They don't need y'all like that no more. And now that they no longer need y'all as a buffer class, they starting to get rid of the people who ain't supposed to be here. And the crazy thing is, even your own people that got here a little earlier than you did and did everything they were supposed to do, even they on board of getting you the fuck out of here. So I need y'all to understand something. Y'all are nothing more than a buffer class for these Europeans. That's it. And after they get done using you, I'm gonna tell you the same thing that Steven told Django. They gonna hit you across the head with that sledgehammer, throw you down the nigga hole, and that is gonna be the legacy of all these illegal immigrants. That's gonna be your legacy.
Community is the only community that has the power in this country to change anything. They are the only one with the experience of civil matter. They are the only one que tenían el esclavo ahí mismitico. They are the only one that are not gonna get deported anywhere, and you cannot put them all in jail. So African American community, which is the community that is stepped on by Cubans, the most are the only ones that are going to save the Latinos. And I clap for the African American community that has not come out because it is not. I do. We didn't do shit for them.
I get it, but I don't.
Me and you support, but in masses we didn't support anything that was going with them. Latinos look at Cubans specifically. I'm not gonna talk about any other community because I'm not part of that community, even though I'm a Latina with them. Cubans talk shit about African Americans.
It's true.
Cubans did not support African Americans. Cubans think that they all victimize themselves, of this, all of that. African Americans are the only ones that are going to save your asses, Latino. So you better start kissing. If you're going to kiss some ass in this country, you better kiss some black ass.
Family, I always tell people that the biggest tool you have, as a citizen of a country, the only tool you have and the greatest one has always been you voting. Not just voting, but voting in the rightful leaders. I remember in the just concluded elections in America, Latinos were singing around, very, very happy, saying they are Latinas for Trump. And most of them actually voted in Trump as the next president. Right now, they are the most affected group. We've seen mass deportations affecting Latinas so much. We've seen a lot of ICE raid in Latina communities. And right now, most of them have been crying, asking for black folks to come and help them, to stand with them. Even in the LA protests, people were asking, where are black people? Black folks on the other side are saying, it's time that we now just relax, we now chill, because black people have been fighting in America for a very long time, since the days of slavery. Black folks built America, without any pay, with no wages. Any good thing you see today in America was built by the black man. That I can say without any fear of contradiction. Black people have made a lot of things in America. Anything beautiful you think of. Think of the White House, black man. Think of Washington, D.C. These are all things that were built by black folks, for free. And right now when I see the Latina people crying and saying that black folks can actually serve them, you'd wonder where they were when black people were asking them not to vote in Donald Trump. You'd ask themselves, what's their history? Have they struggled the same way black folks have struggled? I've heard Angelina say in the video that black folks are the only group which cannot be arrested, the whole group. She also mentioned that black people are the only group, that can easily not be deported. And I just want to correct her again by saying that I believe that black Americans are actually citizens. That's why they cannot be deported. They've built America. They've struggled for America. They've been struggling over time, to ensure that their rights are heard. They've been struggling to just try and explain themselves so that they may not continue getting the racist abuses black folks have been getting over the years. Black people have struggled enough in America, and I think it's time for black people to sit down and just watch. Anything that you feel would bring you problems, you just sit down and watch if it's not affecting you directly. I imagine if a black man could go in the streets on the very front lines, they are easily targeted, they can easily be gunned down. The blame has always been put on the black man. It's time that black people just leave Latinas handle their problems. I've seen some really nice Latinas asking, other Latinas to stop putting black people in this issue. For the longest time, some Latinas have also said in that video that for the longest time they've been anti-black and they've been taught to be anti-black in their communities. So when they see right now that Latinas do want black folks to come and help them, they're actually wondering, because they've been taught over time to be anti-black, they've been actually racist to black folk. It's time, if they want unity, it's easier that people unite in times of happiness, in times that people are actually having a lot of joy in them. It's easier for people to assimilate and discuss and try and forgive each other when everything is calm. But that time when everything is up there, the time that you feel you need black people, I just think it's a wrong timing. You'd actually bring problems to the black community than them trying to help you. And that is just by my thought. And I just want to ask black people that if it's possible, kindly do not get yourself into some of these protests that will endanger your life. It's easier for a white man to take up a banner and say no to the ICE protest, but it's very, very difficult for a black man to carry the very same banners and go back home alive. Very, very difficult. Chances are high that the police can take matters to their own hands and unalive you as a black man. Black people have fought for America for the longest time, and it's just time that we watch things from the side. Guys, let me know what you think about the video. Let me know what you think about what some of these nice Latinas have said about how they were taught to be anti-black. And let me know what you think about Angelina Castro's message in this specific video. Guys, thank you so much. Kindly like the video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users. And I'd also appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.